Hey, you guys. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Happy Friday to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys, it's Friday. It's May 2nd, right? Yeah, it's May 2nd. And I'm on here live, you guys. I told you guys yesterday I was come back on here live for you guys, and I did. I How was your day? Today was not a busy day at all for me. I basically stayed in bed all day. I got up just to make my bed because I can't help myself and got right back in it. I got right back in it, you guys, and just basically, kept my foot up because you guys already know from the last live. I told you guys that this week I had a little trip and kind of hurt my ankle a little bit, so it swelled, and I'm just keeping an eye on it. I've canceled my plans for tomorrow, which is a little bummer because I was actually looking forward to it. But besides that, at least my kids are coming home tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. For those of you who weren't on the live and who haven't not yet caught the replay, go catch the replay. But I did mention that my babies were on a school trip, so I was a little bit bummed out about it because this is the first time they're staying out from home, so I had to sleep in the house by my not by myself, but without them. So I wasn't happy about that, but they do come home tomorrow, so I'm very excited from their school trip. Hello, welcome to the live. Say hi. I don't bite. But yeah, so the kids are coming home tomorrow from their 3-day trip in school. And the other ones, they're out there doing their thing with daddy, whatever. But yeah, but for today, I stayed in bed all day, you guys, and I crocheted and I just relaxed and kept my foot up, and I will continue to be doing that tomorrow. But I will show up tomorrow, this night's live. The kids do come home at, I think they get to the school back to the school about 5 or 6 in the evening, so that's still plenty of time to wind down and come back on the live for you guys. But yeah, you guys, how was your weekend? Your weekend? How was your week? And how is your weekend looking like for you? Like, how are you guys? But y'all, it is rainy today. Like, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I'm kind of surprised that's like raining like right now. Usually, it's like during the day, and then a little bit later during the night. But yeah, it's raining right now as we speak. But that's fine. But yes, you guys, I wanted to come on live today, and I really wanted to discuss bouncing back. Really and truly, because that was something I wanted to do on a video, like a regular long form video, and I just never got around to it. So I thought it would be a great time, a great, discussion for our live tonight. Just being able to bounce back, you guys. Like, how is your bounce back muscle? How are you with, when life throws you hurdles and when it throws you, just out the way, when your plans and your path is just blown out of water. How is your bounce back? How is your resilience? I feel like it's very important to have those kind of, I would dare to say it's a skill to bounce back and to be able to, just get back to the routine of what you need to get done and not focus wholeheartedly on the things that are, preventing you from moving forward, like heartache, y'all story. Okay. I, I, I I talk to my close loved ones, and they tell me these stories about just basically people who they've had relationships with, and who and it's funny because a lot of times it's not like a relationship, but they break it off because for whatever reason it's just not working out anymore, right? But then months and weeks and months later, the person is still, like, oh, you broke my heart, or you did this, or you did that. And it's like, this person has moved on. Like, this person has moved on. They're happy. They're living their best life. Why aren't you? Why aren't you living your best life at this point in time? And how long do you really need to take to bounce back? And I know different circumstances, you guys, different things, different circumstances will definitely, showcase as far as when and how you can bounce back. But do not take forever to bounce back from maybe losing a job, or whether it's laid off or whatever, or even from relationships, like do not take forever. I understand. I don't want to put like the category of grief in there because that's very, that's based on the person. You know what I mean? Like take the time you need to grieve, right? However, don't let life pass you by because you have no bounce back skills. You have no resilience in you. You're not able to adapt to the here and now, and I've been wanting to talk about this for some time because I feel like in a lot of ways, that's what hinders us from moving forward in life with the things that we really want to do with our desires and with our goals and whatever we set forth because we're thinking about, the past and how we failed in something or whatever the case may be, and really and truly, like that's exactly what bounce back really is about. It's like something happened, you failed at it, and it's like you have such a hard time like coming out of that. And guys, when it comes to like relationships and connections and all those things, like don't you don't have to spend there's no need for a grieving period. Like there's no need for a grieving period when it comes to like a relationship. Like move on, do you, depending on how long it's been, I understand that. But however, like it's not necessary for you to sit there and wallow in pain and misery because someone no longer values you, no longer sees your worth or whatever. Like, find it yourself. Move on, bounce back, you guys. Like, I know there are things on your heart that you've been wanting to get done. There's goals and dreams you've had that you've been wanting to, put forth into the universe. Like, when you go through heartache, when you go through disappointment, when you go through, you know, getting over fears and anxieties and all those things, like you guys, you get so much done. You get so much done when, think about it like this. Our bodies, like right now, my ankle is tripping, okay, because I tripped. I tripped, so my ankle is tripping, right? But it will heal, right? It would completely heal. It would mend. It's not, it didn't get broken or anything like that. If it did, just longer period of, time to heal. But it's gonna bounce back and it remembers how to do it what it's to do for me, for my body, right? We need to bounce back, you guys. We need to have the spirit of bounce back. Like there are gonna be people who hate you, there are gonna be people who don't like who you are as a person. There are gonna be those who don't desire to even get to know you. There's gonna be challenges in your life that you feel have will have set you back so far. So far. Okay, but you need not to rest your head at night dwelling on those things. What you need to do is come up with your plan, whether it's to continue what the previous plan was without whatever failure you went through, or you learn from that and you keep on pushing. You guys, learn from your mistakes, learn from the things that didn't go your way. That's the best way to bounce back. Learn from it. Okay. I don't care if it's a relationship. I don't care if it's from a job that didn't work out, a career, whatever the case may be. If you learn from it, that's the best way to be able to bounce back. Do not dwell on if you're not learning from it and you're sitting there wallowing in it, that's not going to do good for anyone. Like, for what? What's the purpose? It's not going to do anything. It's not going to benefit you or anyone else around you for you to sit there dwelling on may have, what may have or could have or whatever. Like, no, like maybe sometimes it's easier said than done, you guys, and I understand that. Believe me, I do. But there's gonna come a point in time where you have to just be able to let things go. Let things go and woosah, get the help you need, get the care that you need, if that's the case may be. But you need to be able to bounce back. You need to be able to be resilient. Children are the best, okay? And that children are so resilient, no matter what the case may be. Even like with us, for example, moving out here to Tanzania, children are resilient. Okay, take them as examples if that's what you need. Like, do not dwell and wallow in pity and feeling defeated because you're not accomplishing the things and you're not getting over the pain and the frustration and all those things, you know. You guys, we definitely need to, what am I doing? We definitely need to be able to have that, you know, it's important. It's very important to live in this life and to have those skills, to be able to bounce back. Whether you have to take notes and remember what after something happens, if you have to sit there and write it down, like what happened, how it occurred, how what did I learn from it, other things. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. Okay. I don't you know, people sometimes will say, you know, act like writing things down is not, like for what? I understand that. I get that, but you know what? It helps me. And if it helps me, it might help someone else. And if writing something down, whether it's like a bad relationship, whether you went through something and it's been like, okay, 5 years or whatever, and you can't figure out why this person did this and did that to you or whatever, like don't sit there and start writing it down. Write it down. Get the help you need. Whether you have to go to a therapist or whatever the case may be, like they're gonna tell you to write things down too. They're gonna tell you to write things down too. Like write things down, you guys. Write things down, be able to meditate over it, pray over it, whatever you got to do, but you need to get over it. You need to get over it because the world's going to keep going. That ex is going to find himself another lover. You are going to be sitting here, jobless if you are not, if you got fired and you're sitting here dwelling on the job you just lost. No, get that resume, find somebody in that job that can write you up a good recommendation and keep pushing. Do not dwell on things that y'all, that's how I feel like that's how people become serial serial killers and stuff because they're dwelling. I know it's not that, this whole mental situation with that, but but sitting there dwelling on you know what can't be anymore, or disappointments and yada, all those things, you guys, like it doesn't help anybody. And if you don't have that in you, if you feel like you're a person who just sits there and cries all the time and you, no, it's dirty, you can't have it, I have to wash it, no, you can't have the dinosaur, bye, go play with the llama. But yeah, you guys, if you are constantly feeling defeated and you feel like it takes you so long to get back on the horse and to get things going again, you definitely need to figure out ways to better that skill because it truly is a skill, you guys. And sometimes, I feel like everything is everything is always like, you know, it's either really good or really bad, right? And sometimes, what am I trying to say? Good things can be bad too, right? And sometimes, like I feel like speaking for me and my family, not my family, but like my family I grew up with, we were very like nonchalant. Like me and my brothers are very nonchalant about things. Like it's like it is what it is, and we just gotta keep it pushing, gotta keep it moving. And sometimes that attitude, it doesn't help either sometimes, but I do feel like it definitely embodies, how I'm able to bounce back in a lot of situations. I'm able to bounce back. I'm very resilient. And I feel like I wouldn't be as far as I am in life if I didn't have if I didn't have that in me, if I didn't have that bone, if I didn't have that skill, if you want to consider it a skill, which I feel like it is a skill, being able to bounce back from life's turmoils and heartaches and pains, it's a skill. And if you don't have that skill, do like with like any other skill, you guys, work at it. Work at it. Okay, every chance you get, relationships, jobs, friendships, all the time, all any connections, because connections will definitely bring on some disappointments in life. Okay, and that will definitely test your resilience. So you definitely need to be able to, if you are lacking in the skill of resilience, any situations you find yourself in, practice bouncing back, practice, find the thing that will help you not only to figure out that you are, slacking in that area, but also to build up on that area. If you find yourself always, some people, they are, big on cleaning when they're upset. If you find yourself going through something and you're always cleaning, 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 but at the same time you're not actually going through emotions and getting over said problem, then you're not really bouncing back from that. You just basically blanketing it. So definitely, like whatever situation comes up in life, guys, try to be as resilient as you can. Try to get over it as best as you can. If you are a YouTuber and people are on here like bashing you or whatever, because at some point or another that will happen. You know what I mean? You have to be able to have a backbone. You have to be able to just brush it off. You have to be able to bounce back and know that you are that. You are it. And you don't have to, dwell on negativity. You don't have to dwell on failures that because failures really are just lessons, you guys. Just say you learned a lesson. Okay, you didn't fail in nothing. You learned a lesson, and it's up to you to decide whether you're gonna use that lesson in the next situation. So I'm telling you, like, definitely, like, guys, when you guys go through things and you don't know if you have like that resilience in you, you don't know if you have a bounce back ability. Practice, 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 practice. Okay, and that practice just looks like, if that's something you desire, just getting back on the horse, going back after that thing that you feel that you just that you didn't get the first time around or the second time around. Bounce back, you guys. Do not let life like overtake you with disappointments and discouragements and negativity and what we deem failures, all those things. Find your backbone and find your resilience. Okay, find your resilience. Be able to bounce back because it's so important. Because if not, you will just basically be not only making the same mistakes because really and truly, if you're not bouncing back, you're not learning from what just happened. So you're just gonna repeat those mistakes and be back in the same position again. So learn from the mistakes or whatever they are. You know, be able to move forward and be able to move forward not only thriving, you know, but in succeeding in the things that you're going after. Bounce back, you guys. Do not let life just hold you down. Hi, welcome to the live. Say hello. um, yeah, children are so resilient, you guys. Like it's the most amazing thing, and it's so funny because people tend to think like, oh, when you act like a child, you're immature, you da 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 da, other things. But we rarely think about the positive things in being childlike. Children are so resilient. They get over things so quickly. Like they can get punished at the same time. They still want to love on the same parent that loved them, that punished them. Bad example, but you know what I mean. But yeah, you guys, bounce back, bounce back to the be don't if you have to bounce back, it's because something occurred that brought you down, right? Don't stay down too long. Don't stay down too long. As you are learning from whatever that situation was, you should be making moves to get back up there, and to pass that. Bounce back. Okay. If you are on YouTube and you're trying to grow your channel and something occurred or you see that your channel's not doing good right now, whatever the case may be, bounce back. Like don't look at it, look at your analytics, figure out what you gotta do, and just move on. Just move on. That's basically what it is. Just move on, move forward. Okay, do not get stuck. Don't get stuck in the same spot because that's never fun and that's not growth. We're all about growing, right? You can't grow if you have no bounce back. You can't grow if you don't have a bounce back. You cannot grow if you don't have a bounce back. You have to be able to bounce back because life is just gonna keep throwing things at us. You know that, right? Life is just gonna keep throwing things at us. Like that's just what it's here for. To throw things at us, to test our resolve, to test us. So things are always gonna be being thrown at you guys. You have to gain that skill and continue to improve on that skill of bouncing back and adapting to the world around you and being able to move forward. Otherwise, why'd you get up off the bed? Why'd you get off the couch? Like, bounce back, do the thing, learn from the thing, and continue moving forward. No, no sleeping on life and yourself. No more of that. Like, what for? What for? Like, tomorrow is still gonna be tomorrow, and whatever occurred today already occurred. You know what I mean? Be able to bounce back. Be able to be resilient. Be resilient, okay? Because what choice do you have? What choice do you have unless you're agreeing to just being a couch potato? You just want to lay there. You just want to, boo hoo over that boo that left you. Like, for what? For what? They done been bounced. They done been bounced. So it's time for you to bounce back for yourself. Okay, it's not cool to just sit there and give up on yourself. No, like, don't do that. Don't do that. Know who you are. Know who you are in every situation, not just in relationships, not just in, with the connections, but with everything in the world, with your job, with your children, with traumas, Lord, with traumas, with grief, with, all the things. There's a time to dwell a little bit on those things when negative things happen in our lives. There is a time. We're all human. We do need to take the time to grieve, to grieve friendships, to grieve relationships, to grieve a job, to grieve a career move that didn't happen, to grieve goals that didn't happen. All the things. There's the time. Don't stay in that don't stay there. Don't, because time is continuous. It's going to continue going. Okay, life will continue happening while you are still dwelling on something that you really should just have learned a lesson from. You really should just have learned a lesson from. I like There's so many times, like, I've dwelled on relationships, like friendships, that didn't pan out the way I thought it should have. And just continuously, like, going back in my head, like, what happened? What did I say that made this person feel this way? Why am I losing this friendship? And yada yada yada, all the things. And for what? When that person been long gone, not thinking about me, not thinking about my feelings, nothing like that. Like, you have to be able to bounce back, you guys, because that is the lesson. That is the lesson. That is like tier one of the lesson. Getting over it, bounce back. Even if you don't get over it, bounce back, and then continue on with the lessons you learned from said, you know, relationship, trauma, drama, whatever the case may be. Y'all, if we don't bounce back, I don't know. That's the weirdest thing for me. Like, imagine a child who was trying to learn how to walk, and then they fell that one time and decided, okay, now I'm gonna keep on crawling for the rest of my life. Now you got this 40-year-old crawling around town because they had no bounce back. Something in their brain was like, nope, we're not gonna do this. We're good. No bounce back. You know what I mean? That's why that's what's that saying? What's that saying? Go back on like a bike. Is it a bike? Is it a bike? Is it a bike, you guys? That same way it says, it's easy as riding a bike. And, when you fall off a bike, you get back on it. Fall off a horse, you get back on it. Same scenario, same thing, right? And that's it. That's basically it. If you had a child who fell once from learning from getting from crawling to walking, and then they just, the brains, was like, nope, we're not doing this anymore. 40-year-old crawling around town with you. Okay, they're not driving, you driving them. Like, no, like, you guys, that's not ideal. That is not ideal. Okay, let's learn from the children and let's have that bounce back in us, because they can cry for a good 15, 20 minutes, and they will be fine. They are still going to be bouncing back to that. They can still try to crawl and walk and all the things. Okay, if you have kids, watch them more. Watch them and think more. Be like, okay, bounce back, you guys. Do not get caught up in your so-called failures or whatever the case may be. You didn't fail. You're succeeding. You're learning. You're learning to continue on. Okay, I don't care what the scenario is. Like, learn from those relationships. Like, learn, your boundaries. Learn all the things that you're supposed to be have been learned from that ordeal. But don't, hold on to things that don't even serve you. You know, that not bouncing back does not serve you. It does not serve you at all. Like, why are you still stuck in that same? Why are you still talking about things that happened how many years ago? For what purpose? If there's no purpose to it, then it's you're not writing a book. You're not trying to help nobody that way. So why are you dwelling on it? Why are you dwelling on it? Bounce back, you guys. Bounce back. Be resilient. Do yourself a favor and learn from your mistakes and keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Okay, there's no reason to sit there sulking, year after year, dwelling on, oh, woe is me, oh, he left me, oh my gosh, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna, text that and see if I get a response, and I'm going to, you know go up to that job again and see if they'll rehire me. For what? For what? You are not meant to be at that job. That is why they let you go. That is why they let you go. You are not meant for that job, you know in this scenario. In this scenario, y'all, I don't want to take anything from anybody. I understand, but it's, at the same time, you guys, there is better out there. And if you are not, putting your mind on better for yourself, then that's a problem. That is a problem. And your skill set needs you need to focus on increasing your skill set when it comes to bouncing back and being resilient and moving forward in life. Moving forward in life. Don't be a case of, you know, failure to launch because you're just so stuck in your, woe is me mentality. Like, nobody got time for that. Nobody has time for that. You don't have time for that. There's so much more you could be doing. There's so much more you could be winning. You could be winning. You're not winning if you're not progressing, if you're not moving forward, if you're not being resilient, you're not adapting to the new world and to everything. And the new world, I'm just talking about, the new world is just the world that you are in now after said trauma, drama, and craziness, whatever the case may be. You know, it's time to bounce back. It's definitely time to bounce back, you guys. It's time to bounce back. It's time to, you know, forget the old. And then, really, guys, if we're talking about relationships, like, please, please don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to your heart and soul. Like, if somebody, basically no longer values you in that type of a relationship, because they might value as a friendship, you know what I mean? They might value as, somebody, that they once knew or once hung out with or whatever the case may be, but as far as the relationship goes, if they don't no longer value in that type of, then move on, move on. Take your little grieving time, whatever the case may be. But in the end, move on. Like, learn from it and move on. Don't dwell. Don't dwell in, over someone not valuing you in the way that you want to be valued in that particular scenario. Okay? Life is hard enough, you guys. It's hard enough without us having to make life harder for ourselves. And not being able to bounce back definitely is making it harder on yourself. It's making it harder on yourselves. Say hey, guys. Say hi to live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm keeping my hands busy. Yeah, you guys. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that I hope that you are learning from your mistakes and that you are moving forward in life and you're not stuck in your mind over things that you have no control over. And that's the thing too. A lot of times when we lack resilience and we lack bounce back abilities, it's because it's things that have occurred that we can't control. And me being a little bit of a control freak, you know, like, just a little, I can see how, that will stunt somebody's like bounce back abilities because it's something that's happening out of our control. We can't fix it. It's like, you want things your way, and things don't always go our way, you guys. Things don't always go our way. Our employers aren't loyal. Okay, in case you didn't know, I, even if it's a even if it's a family business, employers are not loyal, you guys. They are loyal to that coin. They are loyal to making that business make money. Okay, for them, they are not loyal like that. They, to a degree, sure, but they're not. Come on, let's be honest. Like, don't dwell on a job, thinking that, oh, you've been there for such and so long and yada yada. Like, you guys, don't set yourself up for failure. You know, don't set yourself up for failure, because things in life will happen. Life will continue to throw hurdles, and you just have to be able to bounce back from that. That's just it. Be resilient, bounce back, know you are still worthy of whatever the thing was you just, lost, or whatever the case may be, and just find it other ways, like go, you know, just because you're out of one relationship doesn't mean there's not another one out there for you, you know. Just because you got let go at one job does not mean there's not another job out there for you, you know. Just because you your goals didn't pan out the way you wanted to pan out doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. Just continue, just push forward, just move on. Just move on, you guys. Like, you are so capable. You are so capable. You are so worthy. You are so you have everything that you need inside of you. Everything you need is inside of you. It's just a matter of you knowing that and fulfilling the things you want to fulfill without fear. Because fear for what? Without fear, without anxieties, without, and even if you do it with the fear, that's the best. That's amazing. You guys, be resilient. Nothing in life is gonna, nothing that's easy that's not what you want. You don't want things always so easy anyway. Okay? Relationships, well, I don't want no struggle love. I don't have no struggle love. But you know what I mean? Like, whether it's a job, whether it's a certain goal you're going after, whatever the case may be, you want certain challenges. You want certain struggles. You want, because that's the way we learn. That's the way we grow. So don't feel like you're gonna, you have this big goal and you're just gonna breeze right through it. It's nice to imagine that. It's nice to manifest that, but what would you have learned along the way? You know, it's good to have it's good to have those kind of struggles, whatever the case may be. It's good to have even arguments with your loved ones, because that's how you find out you have certain boundary issues, or you wanna put down a boundary. Like, that's why we go through things, to learn from them. Okay, so if you're going through some kind of a struggle within a relationship or whatever, find out why. Meditate. Why am I going through this? Like, why do I feel this type of way? You know what I mean? It's not just about the other person all the time. Learn your lessons and keep it pushing. Learn your lessons and keep it pushing, you guys. Don't get stuck in the misery of, oh, it's my fault. Oh, what can I do? Oh, this and that and the other. Oh, they didn't appreciate enough of me. Maybe not. All those things may be true, but the point is, move forward. Are you moving forward? Are you moving forward? Or are you just sitting there dwelling and rethinking and rehashing everything? Y'all, I spent a lot of time in my life rehashing scenarios. Okay. And for what? For what? It served me nothing. It served nothing. It did nothing for me. Like, why are we in here rehashing, you know, old arguments, like, and this person said and what that person said, like, that is long gone and over with, boo. Like, why are we sitting here thinking about those things? And we're human. And we have human tendencies and all the things. Sometimes it's like, oh, why do we have to have these? But that's just how we were built. So you have to be able to like be resilient, you guys. Be resilient. Back, get get that bounce back. Get that bounce back. Just like us, ladies out here who give birth and we want to be able to bounce back and yada yada yada. Same thing. Bounce back. Bounce back before you happen in time. Don't overstretch yourself. But like in truth, like you have to have that bounce back ability in real life. In real life. Because otherwise you're gonna be stuck in the same scenario in your mind by yourself. Because nobody wants to hear your sob story over and over again for too long. I'm sorry to say. Not even a therapist. And you pay them. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to hear the same story for year after year after year of how this person did you wrong or this didn't work out, so I had to my dreams didn't come true this way and that way. Nobody want to hear that like over and over again for years and years and years. Like, no, please, no. Like, you don't be that one at Thanksgiving. Like, don't be that one. Talking about the same drama like years later. Like, no, whatever the case may be, relationships, careers, your goals that didn't happen. No, bounce back, you guys, and bounce back with a set. With some real gumption, with some real oomph behind it. Like go after yours. Go after yours with the lessons you have learned. Okay, the skills you have increased on, because I'm telling you, it really is a skill. It really is a skill, and I for a lot of us, and for me in particular, I feel like I my bounce back was dormant for a very long time, like dormant, and that was, I believe it was a little bit intentional, because on the outside I was doing all the things, but on the inside, like y'all, I could have easily been that one at Thanksgiving, talking about the same old dramas and same old traumas year after year after year. But no, we're not meant to. We're meant to learn and move on and move forward. You know, if life continues to move forward, then so should we. So should we. So should we move forward. There was this one time, you guys. There was this one time where I hurt somebody, and I didn't intend to hurt that person, but I hurt them. And in that scenario, that our friendship was no longer, and that person had a non-forgiving spirit. So, and that's fine, do you. But at the same time, I was very like, I really valued that friendship. I felt like that was a really good friendship for me. I really valued that friendship, but you know, I knew that person was not a forgiving person, and they told me that. You know what I mean? And so when I made that mistake that I made, which was not an intentional mistake at all by any means, and it was nothing scandalous or like that, you guys. But that person did not forgive me, and I was heartbroken, you guys, because I really wanted that friendship, and if that was it was I wanted that friendship, and it just didn't work out. It didn't work out, and I had to bounce back from that. I couldn't just sit there and dwell on it, and I did dwell on it for a little bit because I was like, dang it, like it was my fault, although I had other people in my ear telling me it wasn't my fault, you know. Hey, go. I bet they Jesus was it. Close the door, please. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah, you guys. So I had other people telling me that it wasn't my fault, right? But I still took some kind of responsibility because I understood. You know what I mean? I understood the person. I understood my part in it, and it kind of sucked. It kind of sucked that that person was not a forgiving person at the same time, because I don't get that. I mean, I didn't feel like it was something that was so, well, no, not that situation. I just didn't feel like, I don't know. I don't understand. people can't forgive if it's not like a big thing. But anyway, needless to say, we're no longer friends. And for a very long time, you guys, like I did not bounce back from that, not being friends with that person anymore. Like I really liked that friendship. And but yeah, had to move on at some point, right? Had to move on. And that was that. We have to bounce back, you guys. We have to be resilient. We have to be able to forgive ourselves when we're in the wrong. And, if somebody else is in the wrong and you feel like you want to forgive them, do so. If you don't want to, you still got to bounce back. You still got to continue with life. You still got to keep on pushing. And Lord help me with these children. I got to be resilient with them.
Yeah,
What are you looking for?
the thing where no, the thing where I take here, that's the thing.
Um, well, it's not here. Go. I'm coming. Y'all. But yes, you guys, I'm hoping that, this resonates with one of you guys, at least one of you, because I feel like a lot of times that's what hinders us. That's what keeps us, stagnant in our goals and our dreams. That's what, propels us in procrastination mode because, we're not bouncing back. We're not bouncing back from the last project that we did that didn't go as planned. You know what I mean? Like, we're not bouncing back good enough. You know what I mean? And if you do lack that skill, I'm telling you, can you hear me? You guys, we have to be able to bounce back. We have to be able to increase that skill. Okay. Whatever the case may be, increase that skill, learn from that skill. And every time you have an opportunity to bounce back and to be resilient and to turn your frown upside down and to be happy go lucky and to just to live life in the right manner in the way that uplifts and edifies you, your soul, your spirit, and everybody else around you. Do so. Do not dwell on the negativity and what you just went through maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago or whatever. It is no good. It does no good. If you have active if it's a no returning, a no go back seas, a no, all that, then there's no point in dwelling on it. There's no point in dwelling on it. If you learn your lessons, learn your lesson. Like with that relationship, I learned from that. You know what I mean? And it's funny because as I think about it, yeah, the people that were like telling me like it's really not my fault. I understand that it wasn't like my fault because it wasn't an intentional thing by any means. But you hurt people, you hurt people, and I had to accept that. But I had to also be able to move on as well. And that's what I'm encouraging you guys to do. Be able to move on, you guys. Do not be the person to be dwelling on something years and years on later. Like it does no good for you or anybody else. If you're not about to write a book about it, if you're not about to do a podcast or trying to use your woes to and help somebody else, do not be sitting there dwelling on those past mistakes, traumas, dramas, and all the things. Get the help you need, be able to move forward and bounce back in life. Okay, life is passing you by because you are sitting here dwelling on the past, and I don't care if the past was last week, honey. Like if let's say the job is no longer the job for you, like and it's not, they let you go or whatever the case may be. Don't be sitting there dwelling on that job like next week. No, you have until your next action, what your day off was supposed to be. You have until then to dwell on that, okay? Because then you have to be on the resume. You got to be looking for something else. You know, you guys bounce back. Learn from children how resilient they are and bounce back. Okay, learn from be surround yourself with people who are resilient. Surround yourself with people who are doing the do. Surround yourself with you know things that uplift and encourage you to live life positively and grow. And you're not growing if you're stuck. If you are stuck and stagnant and you are dwelling on this or that and the other that happened in 2024, whatever the case may be, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're not progressing. We need to progress in life, you guys. Let's progress in life. Let's not dwell on what we cannot control. You guys, we cannot control.
You know when I
No, Journey. No, no, no. That's not happening. No, 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 no. Close that door too. Thank you. Y'all. Y'all. But yes, you guys. Do not dwell on what you cannot change. For all my control freaks, welcome. We have to be able to let go and let God and let the universe do this thing, learn from whatever they're trying to teach us, and keep it pushing. You know, if it's out of your hand, out of control, then that's just what it is. That is just what it is. You know, we cannot sit there and dwell on things that we can't control, you guys. We cannot control. Like I can be bummed out about the fact that I'm missing out tomorrow because wrong way. I wanted to go to that event tomorrow, but my ankle is a little busted or whatever. Thank goodness it's not painful. It's just a little swollen, you guys. Let's keep it up. Um, but yeah, I could dwell on that. But what for? It's going to be making me miserable. Why I have to stay in the bed? Like, no, I'm gonna get in the bed. I'm gonna be relaxing and making you know everybody tend to me while I chill and crochet and just relax. Like, period. You know, let's not dwell on things we can't control. Let's not dwell on things we can't control, you guys. Get that bounce back. You guys, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get all the upcoming videos and all the things, you guys. We are going after our watch hours. And if you are new here, you have subscribed, welcome to the team. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys, let's go and hit that 15,000, 15,000. See, manifesting that 1,500. Okay, we're trying to increase to our 1,500 mark on our subscriber list. And by then, we will have a name for ourselves. So yes, you guys, definitely hit that bell. I most of my babies come home tomorrow, but I still most likely will be doing another live. And yeah, I think that's it, you guys. Take care of yourselves, love yourselves, all the good things, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Be blessed, you guys.